True lovers, did you ever feel like finding your soulmate is like waiting for a rare astrological alignment while Mercury is in retrograde? Your crystals are charging in moonlight and your ex finally stops texting you? Yeah, I did too. It's like the universe is on a coffee break with your love life. Hi, I'm Haim with Be Love Media, and today we'll chat about the juncture between the wisdom of the Tao Te Ching and your love life. We're going to focus on verse 23. I'm passionate about helping you navigate relationships with a little more presence, peace, and maybe just a sprinkle of cosmic humor. If you stick around till the end of this video, I promise to gift you 3 practical tips for your dating life based on this profound verse 23 from the Tao Te Ching. And I am sure that some of you may be seeing this video, meeting me for the first time, asking, what do I have to learn from this guy who has this funny accent that I'm supposed to learn from him and not from somebody maybe a little bit older, maybe a little bit more mature? The truth is, you're right. You shouldn't. You should learn from Lao Tzu, who wrote 2,600 years ago this incredible wisdom, these 81 poems, 81 verses of the Tao Te Ching before he left his area where he lived in ancient China during one of the toughest times of ancient China, which was the period of the warring states. And I have gone through, mind you, 3 heartbreaking failed marriages, 3 heart-crunching divorces. And did I want to go through that? Absolutely not. Did I think when I was 20 that that's how I want to end up? God, no. But my karma, my correction, as Kabbalah would call it, my tikkun, required, unfortunately, that I would go, or fortunately, that I would go through these heartbreaking lessons so that I would become, just like a person wants to be athletic and they have to go to the gym, not because they love the gym necessarily, but because that's how they can guarantee that they will become who they want to become. And for me, it was the gym of love, the gym of marriage. Heartbreaking experiences, painful experiences, but they left a lifelong impression on me that led me, thankfully and eventually, to my beloved Rachel, my now wife and best friend, who we have what I call a true love partnership, a true love marriage. But I had to go through what I had to go through. And maybe I went through some of those painful experiences, so some of you listening to this video won't have to go through, just maybe. So true lovers, if this resonates with your soul or even just your curiosity, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so the Tao doesn't have to whisper your lessons through awkward first dates like it did with me. So, verse 23 of the Tao Te Ching. Let's begin by reading it. Translation by Stephen Mitchell, one that I really like. So let's go. Verse 23, open quote. Express yourself completely, then keep quiet. Be like the forces of nature. When it blows, there is wind. When it rains, there is rain. When the clouds pass, the sun shines. If you open yourself to the Tao, you are at one with the Tao and you can embody it completely. If you open yourself to insight, you are at one with insight and you can use it completely. If you open yourself to loss, you are at one with loss and you can accept it completely. Open yourself to the Tao, then trust your natural responses and everything will fall into place. Close quote. So, insight number 1 about relating to finding a romantic partner based on verse 23. Number 1, express yourself completely, then keep quiet. What does that mean? In a healthy relationship, both people express authentically, then pause. silence is just as sacred as speech. Can your person sit with stillness, or do they fill every space with noise? So what does that remind me? Previous relationship, my what I call my mediocre relationship, never mind, they were also toxic in hindsight. When one of us was bothered by something and they express it to the other person, what usually came after that is some kind of a nagging episode, right? Like that person couldn't be okay with the other person's feedback to what they just shared. They had to either convince the other person, persuade the other person, or have them capitulate to their opinion, to their will, or they wouldn't be happy. So, on the other hand, in my relationship with Rachel now, thankfully we get along famously. We're just, I mean, it's a little bit sappy, if to not to use stronger words. Again, it took me a long time to get to that kind of relationship. However, when we do happen to have uncomfortable conversation, and occasionally we do, what one can be present to, if you were a fly on the wall in our conversations to each other, is number one, immense respect to one another. There is openness to the other person's feedback. There is listening once I shared what I want to share, what bothered me, or what I'm concerned with. And same thing with Rachel. Versus before, it was just sometimes a yelling match when it was really intense. Here, that's just not how we do it. It's just like two, again, best friends trying to figure out a resolution to a problem. And it's filled with respect, filled with love. And what happens when you have the first example, when you are in a relationship that is toxic, where there's sometimes yelling matches, or even just intense conversation that lacks respect to the other person's opinion. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you always say this and you never do that. Be careful of always and never. That's always a lie. And I'm contradicting myself. But when somebody's using a lot the words always and never, by the way, that's a narcissistic pattern of trying to manipulate the other person. And I can talk about narcissism a lot because unfortunately I had a lot of experience, especially with my last partner, my previous partner. And I wish somebody taught me that when I was younger. But that lesson did not exist and I had to learn it the hard way. So certain people use manipulative language. That's not respect. That's not love. They're just trying to force you to do their bidding. And if you're the kind of person who does that, you got to snap out of it. You got to find a way out of it. I don't care if you take on therapy and talk to your therapist about it. I don't care if you share first with close friends or you go and chat GPT that dang thing. But one way or another, you gotta find your way out of it, because that is a form of selfishness. And all you can attract when you're selfish is somebody else selfish. I used to be, to some level, selfish. So I attracted more selfish people into my life. Once I woken up from that nightmare and realized I have to be more generous. Maybe I was generous, but I want to be more generous. I have to be more giving. I have to be more selfless if I want to attract somebody like my beloved Rachel. Number 2, be like the forces of nature, says verse 23. Seek a partner who is grounded and flows naturally through emotions. You want someone whose moods aren't hurricanes, but gentle seasons. Nature doesn't force, and neither should love. I have more examples that I can have time to share with previous partners of stormy moods. Whether it was screaming and yelling because I didn't wash the dishes properly and I left there was a dirty dish in the cabinet, whether I did laundry, trying to help, and made that rare mistake of dyeing the clothes pink, or if I said something that wasn't completely thought through without malintention, but that offended them. That's okay, but can we talk about it without freaking out? Can we share with each other what bothered us without putting the other person down? Or can we not? So look for somebody who can flow naturally through emotions. You want someone whose moods aren't hurricanes but gentle seasons. Number 3, if you open yourself to the Tao, you can embody it completely. Openness is key. True lovers, the right person will be open, not perfect. Open to growth, to spirit, to you. Closed hearts aren't ready for divine union. I remember having a conversation with one of my dates before I met Rachel. And she actually seemed like she was really excited about spirituality. Her house was filled to the brim with Buddha sculptures and all kind of spiritual music instruments. It was exciting when I went into her home as I was getting to know her. And at one point we started having what seemed at the time like it's going to be a spiritual conversation. And she said, what do you think about this such and such concept? And I'm like, oh, that's a great question. I think such and such. And I remember her face getting kind of weird, getting angry. And she said, I don't think you understood what I was asking. I was present that she was agitated. As well, I'm just telling you what I think about it. That's just how I feel about it. And she's like, yeah, but I don't think you understand what I was asking because I don't understand why you said what you said. And I remember pausing and asking her, why are you angry? So, no, it just seems to me like you're not understanding what I'm saying to you. And I was present to this person who, on the surface, enjoyed spirituality, spiritual topics, but were they really capable, spiritually, of being compassionate to another person's opinion? Apparently not. Was that somebody I wanted to build a relationship with? Probably not. Not right for me, I'm not right for them. And shortly after that, we moved on from each other's life. And then I was present to how me and Rachel are having conversation with each other. Again, with respect, with kindness, with compassion, and not always having to respond to every single thing. Many times we do, because we enjoy good conversations, but a lot of respect. And that's a wonderful foundation and a constant self-cultivating relationship going forward. Number 4, if you open yourself to loss, you can accept it completely. Close quote. Choose someone who isn't afraid of vulnerability. If they have faced heartbreak with grace, they have developed emotional resilience. That's spiritual gold in a partner. Again, lots of examples. I'll give you an example that I might have given before, but unfortunately it's a good one. With my ex, we had a beloved dog, and she had her first pregnancy. She was with a puppy. And I was at work at the time. My ex called me at work and said, oh my God, something is not right with that delivery, with that birth. I need you home. And I said, sure enough, left work, rushed to the vet with her and the dog. And sure enough, she birthed a still puppy, which was devastating. You can imagine how both of us were devastated. We were trying to make decisions over what to do next with the veterinarian, supposedly husband and wife trying to figure things out. And it's such a tough situation, painful situation. And sure enough, she stared me dead in the eyes, my ex, back then my wife, and said in front of the veterinarian, well, it's your fault anyway, so I don't care what you decide here. You make this decision. And I was like blown away by that negative reaction. First of all, how is it my fault that she gave birth to a still puppy? That's nature. That's just what happens sometimes with nature. Never mind, I'm not a vet. And secondly, in front of the veterinarian, really? Thirdly, what kind of partnership is that? This was roughly somewhere towards the end of that relationship, and I was already wondering, is that somebody? At the time we were thinking maybe we'll have a second child. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna wanna have a second child with this person because, things go bad with kids all the time. They get injured, they get hurt. Is that I'm always gonna be the scapegoat for anything that happens in a relationship or to our children, God forbid? I realized this is not a true partnership. And later, fast forward, I met Rachel. We had some uncomfortable incident, and I was kind of like watching, from past trauma from previous relationship, what is going to be Rachel's reaction? And all I saw was soft, gentle, kind receiving of the situation and being chill. Another example with Rachel was when I met her, it was 2 weeks before she lost her dad. And when her dad passed away, she announced it via message, whatever messaging app at the time to me. So, by the way, just so you know, we just got to know each other 2 weeks prior. And she said, my father passed away and I'm dealing with it right now. And at the time I remember thinking, that's it. I don't think she's going to be available to have a guy courting her in a situation like this, losing your beloved father. Sure enough, she was stable, emotionally stable enough, not only to receive my attempt at comforting her, but also was emotionally stable enough to deal with that and life and a guy who wants to get to know her in a respectful way. That was new to me, somebody who's so emotionally stable. So, somebody who's not afraid of vulnerability. Number 5, trust your natural responses and everything will fall into place. Close quote. Your intuition is a compass. Don't ignore it. And neither should your partner. Choose someone who respects their inner knowing and encourages yours. And I have lots of examples about intuition and how at one point I didn't have it and later on I learned to trust myself. Obviously I didn't have the proper intuition when I met my previous partners because there were signs from the get-go, from first date, second date, third date, that we weren't right for each other per what I was looking for, maybe what they were looking for. And yet between me and Rachel, we use intuition all the time in our life. Does this feel right? Does this not feel right when we're making decisions? Because we have cultivated through the wisdom of the Tao Te Ching, through the wisdom of Buddhism, through the wisdom of Kabbalah, all those wisdom talk about the power and the importance of having healthy intuition to feel into situation and not just on the surface. So, as promised, 3 practical dating tips, Tao style. Number 1, practice presence on dates. Don't multitask your way through dinner. Put the phone away, breathe, and just be. That calm confidence, that's Tao magic. One of a funny trick that I have for business dates, friendship dates, and in the past romantic dates is let's say you have 3 people, 2 people, 5 people at the table, you're about to have dinner, say, hey, I got a challenge for you all. Put all your phones face down in a pile in the middle of the table on vibrate. The first person to pick up their phone pays the bill. Just a funny trick to hopefully help people be more present. Number 2, stop forcing connections. If someone isn't reciprocating, don't chase. Tao doesn't hustle, it flows. If they're not showing up with grace and effort, let the current take you elsewhere. This is a problem I've seen a lot of guys, and I used to do that mistake as well, chasing. Now there is room for chasing in romance, but only to a degree. Meaning, if I'm sending a text to a girl, and I'm saying, hey, how was your day? And all I get is, fine. Maybe I give her a second chance, and I'm like, I remember you told me that you have a test. How did it go? Went okay. Right? What do you see there? There's no desire to open the conversation. They're probably not really interested. Maybe you're forcing it because she's gorgeous, because she's exciting, because she's interesting to you, but there's just no interest there. Move on. You give it a couple of chances, maybe 3, and if you don't get enough reciprocation there, even via text, move on. Move on. It's not going to be fun, guaranteed. 3, embrace rejection as redirection. Loss isn't failure. It's the Tao clearance space. If it didn't work out, maybe it was never meant to be part of your path. I remember shortly before I met Rachel, I went on a date with somebody. She was fun, she was exciting, she was beautiful. We went on a short hike in a beautiful nature spot, and we had certain things in common. I was like, oh my God, I think this could be it. She did this seminar that I also did. What are the odds? She did this program that I also did. What are the chances? I think this is it. And at the end of it, I was like, okay, we'll keep in touch. Never heard from that girl again. Texted her after that, hey, would you like to get together? Didn't really get the response I wanted. At the time, I was like, what the hell? I thought it was right. Don't question the Tao. Don't question the universe. Universe knows what it's doing, and we don't. But if we trust, we go with the flow. I read a wonderful phrase about when you learn to flow with the river, you acquire the power of the river. Beautiful phrase. True lovers, if your heart got even 1 ounce lighter from this video, or if you're just relieved I didn't quote another Rumi poem, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. Seriously, help your fellow soul seekers dodge another dating app disaster and bring some Tao to Tinder. May your love life be as natural as wind, as clear as rain, and as effortless as the Tao itself. Until next time, stay soft, stay wise, and stay weird. Peace, be love, and divine matches.